Hey man. Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You know what, the point and shoot I was telling you about, I got it delivered yesterday. Do you want to go for a walk and take some photos? Yeah, I just want to put some test roll through it. What? What do you mean? I don't buy cameras that often. I'll tell you what, my film camera collection, I think, is complete now. I don't think I need any new cameras. Why would I get on that bet? All right, fine. I wasn't planning on, buying anything new for another 6 months anyway. So, yeah, it's on. No new cameras for another 6 months. Yeah, you got it. I'll see you later though, yeah? All right, man. 6 months sounds a little too long.
Its Hasselblad brother is known as the xpan, and it's special because, well, as Sage the Gemini once said about the xpan, it's panoramic. The TX1 is virtually the same camera as the xpan, sans the name and color. It shoots panoramic photos, and by panoramic, I mean the good
Nope, I did not buy an xpan or a Fuji TX1 solely to shoot panoramas because my bank account and I will have to part ways if I did that, and I don't think I'm quite ready to do that just yet. If you're wondering what the hell is a bank account, maybe you can show me all your film camera collection. So what is a panorama? It is essentially any wide-angle view or representation of a place. Usually it's a place, but you can use it for other creative applications as well. In the world of photography, it's usually multiple frames stitched together, and some of the film cameras were designed specifically for these purposes. In a 35mm format, it's usually 2 frames worth of image captured in a single shutter action. So you can see here a panoramic frame is almost twice as much in width but the same height as a 24 by 36 frame. Now obviously I love that and I want to try it, but I can't afford to buy one of these dedicated panoramic cameras. So I decided to convert or adapt my Pentax 6x7 to shoot panoramas. It was a relatively easy decision to make because I already own a Pentax 6x7. It will be a fraction of the cost compared to buying a new camera, and it would be a good exercise for me to know whether I actually enjoy shooting panoramas. I know some of you are thinking, why not just shoot a 120 format film in a medium format camera and just crop, like a panoramic crop. I hear you, but there are a few reasons why I think it's better to shoot 135 format. One is that 120 format films are super expensive. The roll of film is expensive to develop it, to scan it. Relatively more expensive compared to doing all that with a 135 format film. And you will get only 10 frames per roll of 120 format as opposed to 18 frames in a 135 format roll shot with a medium format camera, and you have a lot more variety in 135 format. Now that we got that out of the way, let's take a look at what I did to adapt my Pentax 6x7 to shoot panoramas. A4 sheet of paper, adapters, measuring tape, scotch tape, screwdriver or a coin, a roll of 135 format film, dark room or a dark changing bag, optional a 45mm f4 lens, as it gives a full frame equivalent of a 23mm lens, similar to that of an xpan's 40mm f4 lens. Take an A4 sheet of paper and cut a strip at its shorter length, measuring 24mm in height and stick it to the film lead. Put tapes on both sides so that it doesn't come off easily when the film gets rolled in. Hold the film leader and roll the film back into the canister to make sure that it's firm and fully rolled in. Take a coin or a screwdriver and twist this knob to point at 220 and move the pressure plate on your camera back to 220. Cut a piece of paper to use as your frame guide on your viewfinder, or if your panoramic conversion kit comes with a 3D printed frame, then use that. Now is the fun part. Pentax cameras don't allow you to fire the shutter when there is no film, but we're gonna have to trick the camera to think that there is film. This way we'll be able to wind the shutter a couple of times before actually putting the film through. This is so that we can use more of the film and not waste it while loading. So wind the shutter halfway through and open the back of your camera. Push down this little button and move it counterclockwise until it gets past 0, and then close the back of the camera. Wind the shutter fully now and fire the shutter. Wind again, and now your camera is set to put the roll in. So open the back and put the roll of your 35mm with the adapters. Start rolling the paper into the take-up spool. You can just use a regular 120 take-up spool for this, but you can't wind the shutter to advance the spool as you would with a 120 film, because we've already done it in the previous step to save frames. So you just have to roll the spool with your hands and make sure the film is tight and taut and not loose. Now you can close the back. Fire the shutter, wind, fire the shutter again. Now it's set for your first frame. Next day, I woke up at ungodly hours to go shoot sunrise at Tower Bridge. It's one of my favorite spots in London. And I thought it would be nice to just bust out those 18 frames around Tower Bridge area. The logistics of it, you would get 18 shots per roll of 135 format, and in terms of frame size it would be 24 by 65 if you're using the adapters, but if you're not, then it would be close to 35 by 70, but keep in mind that it would include the sprockets at the top and bottom of the frame. When it comes to metering, because you'll be using an adapter on top of the focusing glass, it will affect the light that enters the light meter in the camera. So I would recommend using an app on your phone. It is quite easy to adapt your Pentax 6x7 to shoot panoramas. You can buy the 45mm f4 lens to get a similar field of view as a 40mm f4 lens from either xpan or Fuji TX1, which is kind of the normal lens that people use when they use these cameras. But you don't have to. I mean, even if you end up buying a 45mm lens, it would be 200 to 300 pounds as opposed to 2,500 to 3,000 pounds for buying one of them cameras. And I think if you don't have a Pentax 6x7 and if you end up buying a Pentax 6x7 body and a 45mm lens, it would still be cheaper, and the panoramic adapters, it would still be cheaper compared to buying a dedicated panoramic cameras. So yeah, I did enjoy shooting panoramas. I love the look of these wider frames. I am going to be shooting another roll of Zilberzols. But other than that, I don't know how often I'll end up shooting panoramas. So I think it is good that I didn't buy a dedicated panoramic camera for now. I'll just have to wait and see. That's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below or DM me on Instagram. I'll be more than happy to help. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.